He's been with us from the beginning. So, Reg, I hope you share in this new man cave that we have and an unbelievable basketball court that, we would love to see your jumper in here one day. So,
congratulations, Theodore and my Danettes. I've been on the road, obviously, for the playoffs and traveling. So I physically haven't seen it on TV, but I am one of your many followers on Instagram, and you guys are doing an unbelievable story on Instagram of the behind-the-scenes and things that go on in commercial breaks. So I actually did get a chance to see the basketball court with a full clock that's like running time, which is awesome. The football field, it's the murals look unbelievable, and to have my jersey, like above your throne, because you are the king. You do sit on the throne, my friend. I am honored to be a part of this show. I've always have been. I say this is the best in the business. And Theodore, you are killing it as usual.
Thank you, Reg. I'm curious. I have my own basketball court here. Do most basketball players have a basketball court at their house?
In today's age, yes. I remember, like in the late 80s, early 90s, I think the only people that really had basketball courts were Magic Johnson and Michael Jordan. But I think it becomes a trend now, the way home builders and buyers and mansions and estates are being built now. If you can get an indoor court, I know Tracy McGrady had an unbelievable indoor court his time in Houston. If you can get an indoor court, that's great. Most basketball players have outdoor courts. We all grew up on the outdoor courts. But the indoor courts are, if you got the cashola, that's the new trend.
You didn't go to Shaq's place in Orlando, did you?
I did not. That's another person who had an unbelievable indoor facilities was Shaquille O'Neal, yes. Again, if you have the cashola like Shaq, T-Mac, MJ, yeah, you build state-of-the-art. I believe now, even though Shaq still has his, it's part of his because he does a lot of, he's a celebrity DJ now and is very good, I might add. So he built like a studio for his DJing as well. That's a part of his basketball facility.
Who started weightlifting in the NBA?
It became a trend once Michael Jordan continued to get beat up by the bad boys. I'm not going to say that he was the innovator, but everyone started to lift weights because in the 80s, the whole thing of lifting weight was going to throw your shot off. You couldn't get too bulky. And when the bad boys were having their reign and they were, physically abusing Scottie Pippen and Michael Jordan, and Michael said enough is enough. And he got in the weight room and documented it. And I think that's when, because everyone followed, the Pied Piper at the time, that's when everyone turned their interest towards lifting weights. Now, your power forwards and centers always lifted weights because they really didn't have to. That's when power forwards were power forwards. They set screens, they rebounded, and they did all the physical work. But for point guards and shooting guards and even small forwards, lifting weights was kind of like a taboo. Now it's like mainstream. Everyone lives in the weight room, and rightfully so. But I started lifting weights and doing the push-ups and the pull-ups and all that because I was part of the Pied Piper following MJ. If MJ's doing it, we all got to do it, and that's when I started.
Shaq was on yesterday, and we didn't agree on something. I said that I thought that James Harden is the most versatile scorer in modern-day NBA history. And I said even more so than Michael and Kobe, but I said in fairness to them, they played in a different time. Certainly Michael did, and he would have incorporated the three-point shot. But I said that the difference with James Harden is he can hit the three, the 15-footer. He can dunk on you. He can take contact. He can shoot a lot of free throws. And I think he's the most versatile scorer that we've had, most dominating versatile scorer that we've had in a long, long time. And Shaq didn't agree.
Agree, because he has based his game towards the rules. It's funny because if you put James Harden in the late 80s, in the 90s, in my era, you put MJ in today's era, you're wondering who would be more successful with their current skill level. I would have to assume it would be Michael Jordan because we saw what Michael Jordan did when you could hold, hit, clutch, take people out the air, he was still successful. As great as Harden's game is, I'm not quite sure Harden would put up these type of numbers in the 90s. He certainly could. Don't get me wrong. I still think he would be efficient, but his game is tailor-made to the way the modern NBA is played.
We're talking to Reggie Miller, the Hall of Famer, Turner Sports NBA analyst. Just saw this from Adrian Wojnarowski. Ty Lue is meeting with the Lakers today, and the expectation Monty Williams and the Lakers will talk again. Who should be the next head coach of the Lakers? Who makes the most sense in your opinion?
Well, obviously there's a history, and Ty Lue is familiar with LeBron, having won a championship in Cleveland. I think the feel is there. I think Monty Williams has the experience with LeBron from, I believe, Team USA when he was an assistant coach. Look, it's going to come down to communication. And if you are both those coaches, Ty Lue, Monty Williams, I want to know what kind of infrastructure am I going to be walking into. If Rob Pelinka, the general manager, is doing the interviewing, is he going to be there in a year? Is he going to be the one that's going to lead, come July 1st, the all-star bidding and getting these free agents in? Is he going to be the guy? Are they going to be bringing in someone else? So if I'm a head coach, those are the questions I want to know first. Like, yeah, you're interviewing me now, but if I so happen to sign with you guys, are you going to be around July 1st? Who makes the most sense? You got to ask LeBron that. LeBron's the one who's going to make the final decision anyways, right? So,
but why is it? I mean, is this just for cosmetics that you have Rob Pelinka interviewing Ty Lue? But if LeBron wants Ty Lue, is Ty Lue getting this job?
If LeBron wants it, LeBron's going to get it.
Okay.
Yes, absolutely. LeBron runs things. It's no secret. I mean, I'm not going to sugarcoat it.
Yeah, but is he the right guy, though?
He's going to get Ty Lue. Now, the question is, does Ty Lue want it?
Yeah.
I'm assuming if he's being interviewed, he wants to get back in the league and he wants to coach the Lakers. I mean, again, he played for the Lakers. He won a championship under Phil Jackson with the Lakers. It makes sense, for Laker Nation to have someone that they're familiar with and LeBron is familiar with.
If the Thunder lose tonight, ...
Wasted season. Again, you got Westbrook averaged a triple-double again. You had Paul George, who was in the MVP discussion for 3/4 of the year until that shoulder injury. But to me, it's a wasted season. And it's a disappointing season because they are on the better half of the draw this year, with Golden State and Houston having to face one another in the second round. I mean, it's almost like a waltz to the NBA Western Conference Finals. And if you go out in the first round, it's really disappointing. But again, their makeup of their team is so only Paul George can shoot on that team.
Yeah.
I mean, in today's games, you've got to be surrounded by shooters. And they've got great talent. They've got a top 10 center in Steven Adams. And you've got two top 10 players in Westbrook and Paul George. And you can't get out of the first round. And in my opinion, Paul George will probably be on the first team All-NBA. And you've got Westbrook will probably be on the second team All-NBA. And you can't get out of the first round. Again, the series shift to OKC, and that building is very difficult to win in. And Portland really hasn't shown me much on the road, but they're playing better. All they got to do, though, is win their home games and they win the series. But I want to see what Portland is made of when they go into enemy territory, and can they get a game.
Speaking of shooting or lack thereof, Ben Simmons dominated last night against the Nets, but you said this a couple of weeks ago that you were planning on helping him with his jump shot in the offseason. Is that still on the schedule?
If he was to reach out, I'm sure I would meet him up at a gym and give him some pointers and techniques. But what he has done different in this series is he understands his strength, and he's been playing. If you watch the last two ball games, everything has been downhill for him. I think in game one, he was hesitant and he wasn't confident. Things that he has going for him, he has a jump hook with either hand, And at 6'10", when he attacks the basket, there's not a lot many defenses can do. So he's constantly attacking you, playing downhill, and I think that has put the Nets on their heels, so to speak. And I think the trash talking with Dudley has helped them. The posters going up and all that. This is what you expect, come playoff. With Dudley saying he's limited in the half court, that kind of feeds your ego a little bit.
Yeah, but how do you not know how to shoot, Reg? Like, this guy's playing elite basketball. He's going against elite competition. Like, at some point, did somebody say, I think you're going to need a jumper here?
We're going to have a guy that's going to be MVP this year that really doesn't know how to shoot as well, right?
Yeah.
So it can be done. We're talking about Giannis Antetokounmpo. That is one thing you can develop, and I think he will develop in a time. Jordan wasn't a great shooter and developed into a pretty good shooter. Magic didn't have a jump shot as well. He developed that. So I think it will come in time. Right now he is catering and playing to his strengths. Where it will be magnified is, I believe that obviously they're going to advance past I wouldn't say obviously, but we are assuming they're going to get by the Nets. It will be magnified when they go against Toronto. It will be magnified if they get by Toronto and go against Milwaukee and or Boston, because the further you go in the playoffs, your best attributes get taken away. And we all know that he cannot shoot, and it will be magnified in that Toronto series.
Because Magic wasn't a jump shooter. Magic had a set shot, but Magic could still dominate without scoring a point.
And we saw that in Game 3. Ben Simmons dominated without shooting the basketball. 31 points, the steals, the finishes, the handoffs, the fake handoffs, in transition. He dominated that game without Joel Embiid. But again, I hate to say this, but it's the Brooklyn Nets, and that's to be expected. It's a first-round matchup that you should dominate. It's a 3-6, and your talent will rise. Now, when you've got to go against Kawhi Leonard and Siakam and those kind of guys, that's where, again, your warts start to kind of show themselves.
Barkley said that he is taking Portland to win the West.
I think it's a favorable draw. We talked about OKC getting to the Western Finals. You would assume who would be favored in that Denver-San Antonio series if it's OKC and Portland? The way Portland has been playing, I don't discount it.
Yeah.
I don't see them beating Golden State to get to the NBA Finals, but I could certainly see them getting to the Western Conference Finals.
Yeah, that's interesting. Even with their big man out, and got Oklahoma City on the ropes right now. Do you when's your next playoff basketball game?
We have Game 4, Brooklyn versus Philadelphia 76ers. And I will say this. If I'm Philly, I don't play Embiid again tomorrow because Game 5 is not until, I believe, Tuesday. So I would roll the dice. You've already reclaimed home court advantage. Tobias Harris has found his shooting touch, 29 points. You saw J.J. Redick, 26 points. Jimmy Butler, a great all-around game. I think you could probably get away with not playing Embiid again, and now you have another 2 to 3 days where he can rest that knee before Game 5. And then even then it's questionable. I think you can beat the Nets without Joel Embiid. But going forward, you're not going to beat Toronto without Embiid. So the health of him is much more important than him trying to come back in this series.
Reg, safe travels. If you get a chance, you want to tune in during the commercial break, the live look, and you'll see some sharpshooters here on the basketball floor. I'll go out and put on a clinic for you.
You being one of them, you said shooters. Who is out there else shooting? You said shooters, plural.
Okay, my bad. My bad. Hey!
Who?
McLovin, knockdown shooter.
That's right. I forgot it. McLovin, I apologize. You're right. You are a flamethrower, my friend.
Yeah, 12 to 16 feet with nobody on him, and he does not miss. Thank you, Reg, as always, and thank you for your support throughout the years.
Theodore, I appreciate it. And again, congratulations. Well-deserved, my friend.
That's Reggie Aloysius Miller Jr. III.
For more Dan Patrick Show, tune into Audience Channel 239 on DirecTV. Stream for free on BR Live or download the Dan Patrick Show app.